and I'm here with
Tank.
And we're here on the front lines in the battle against the deep state, the cabal, the Illuminonkeys, and all those that wish to enslave us for their own selfish reasons. And we're here on with breaking news, fantastic news. I should have queued up some like applause or something. I don't
know. No sirens today, Dan.
No sirens. No sirens. But just
So everybody, if you go to the Speak Project, you go to the last link there. We put the profiles up for the timeline there for Kim, and you'll see one of the last links of the last public appearance she had was on Sunday. That's on Alan's show in Ireland. I can't remember what it's called, to be honest, but it's out there. Definitely go check that out. And Kim is there talking, and she's describing what has been going on now at the Harvest Moon Festival. Which is not your typical carnival that you might think. It's usually where baby sacrifices and all types of horrible debauchery take place. But this year, the carnival was canceled. Not the carnival, but whatever it was, everything was canceled, all the typical events, because they had no plan, right? There was no cabal plan to pay homage to the gods of Satan, right? So the reason being is they had no money, right? So, they're trying to ball on a budget, which is a little bit hard to do. So what they didn't expect is for Kim to show up and basically be the only one to offer a real plan.
The people govern.
Oh, sorry about that.
The people rule.
President Trump, I know that.
The people rule, yeah.
Do not interrupt me again. I don't care if you are the president.
Yeah, sorry. I just went on the Speak Project and that came up. So that's one of those things.
Yeah, I love that video. Actually, that's really great. So anyways, basically everybody there, whoever it was, and I'm not sure if it's a galactic council meeting or if it's a, I don't know who's there, but a bunch of people that apparently don't hang out at the local bar, and when they're there, everyone accepted Kim's plan, and basically, Kim's plan was to kind of section off everything into different categories, really allow certain money to come through, just not allowing them to control over us, right? There has to be a fair balance. So they all agreed. So she comes back and she transfers money in, and so they clear all their money as usual, right? Because that's what they do. They cleared their money, and then Kim was waiting for her money to clear, right? To be paid back to the trust, which essentially, encompasses the people. So in that, true to form, they did nothing, right? They didn't do it. And they're like, oh, we're having software issues. Like, she's like, come on. I'm thinking it's so funny. Like, Kim is the wrong person to lie to, She has, direct access to the largest mapping system, ever created. It literally can tell you when, what the average growth time of, broccoli plants were on the southeast coast of Ireland and like 1742. I mean, it's that specific on everything it gathers. So do you really think, if they're having software problems, she couldn't just fix it or doesn't know? It's like, don't lie to her, you idiots. So I thought that was funny. Anyway, so basically, all week long, Kim said, okay, I'm going to give you till 5 o'clock and I'm going to pull it back. So either you clear our stuff or she pulled it back at 5 o'clock. She pulled it all back, which is, I'm sure, in part the reason why Kim sent out the warning that she shared with us to put out publicly. It was a 13 years old, the original warning to the order, and also with her added information because she mentioned there that on September 14th and 15th they were given a very stern warning because this is the catastrophic plan of genocide that they all thought was a great plan because they were going to be swept up into a cloud of misty galacticness and it was going to be wonderful and lovely and they're going to be laughing at us and continue on their world of debauchery, right? But the reality is that, they were part of the genocide. They just didn't know it. And that's why Kim put in there a very specific, revelation that she said, look, you keep at this in 5 or 6 months, this whole thing will reset again. Now, that's not a global reset like with currency. That's a people reset. That means everything, there's nothing left. And everything will go back. Now, I suspected, essentially she's talking about these time loops, right? The time loops go back. That's why she mentioned that it's the 7,770th year. And I'm not sure exactly, but probably falls on April 1st would be kind of the the Aramaic calendar, right? So that's probably what she was referring to, I think, because that would bring us back to one, basically. That would start everything over. That would be things go in 7-year cycles, 7 days in a week, 7 times 7, in these, a 490-year cycle, like that too, right? So basically, she was putting that warning out, and I know a lot of people have gotten freaked out by that. That letter, I shared it publicly, and it was probably a little too heavy for a lot of people who don't really know, the backstory. But that letter was always intended for the order, right? For the dragon families, right? It was taking note and coming from a very high perspective of those who allowed them and put them in power, and they were put in power to be protectors, not to be all-consuming gods to us, right? That's not what they're supposed to do. But they justified it by basically saying, oh, they're animals, they're savages, but that's not true. They made us that way by drugging us, wiping our memories, things like that.
Right.
So she put that out, and then all weekend long, I guess they had meetings with, the banks, all the different, all the bigwigs are there, right? Everybody's talking, and they're all coming up with their plan to do what. So in there, they brought up the global currency reset because everyone thought they were going to be able to pull off the global currency reset, right? Which was going to lead to the catastrophic destruction of the planet, right? Because they didn't have access to the plan. Luckily, one person left alive still did, which is Kim, so she knew how that ended, right? So they brought in their economists, their crypto experts, all the different people, and they've gone through their educational process to learn, okay, there's no option. Everything's going to collapse. So the only real option is what Kim presented. So then they, after everything were verified and checked out, they were like, well, what about all the money there? Because they basically, they want more money. They always want more money, right? So they're basically like, what about the Chinese elders' money, for the global currency reset? And so Kim said, she goes, I'll give you an hour, pull together all of their accounts, all their information. I'll give you full access to the system for an hour. You can go in and check out everything you want. And if you can validate a single account they have, we'll talk from there. They went in, they traced every single account back to where it was supposed to go, and they disclosed there is no money available to the Chinese elders, to the order, to the Rothschilds. They own nothing. There is nothing in their name. There is no heritage accounts. All of the accounts that they have touted to be in control of, they no longer exist. They are not there. So they've been promising everyone money, and they have none. What they were promising is, we promise we're going to keep hacking the trust, and try to get through there. That's what they kept doing for the past 7 years at least, right? But that has been unequivocally accepted by them. Now, the proof of that is what we got today is that Chase Bank and the Federal Reserve are working with Kim 100%. Now, for Kim to say that is a miracle, by the way. 100% in cooperation. Yeah, and they're actually going to work through any glitches, quote unquote glitches, right? Which basically means, slimy little guys who think they're going to somehow overcome impossible odds. Any of the glitches don't work through them together. And as of about 4 o'clock, the Federal Reserve had already cleared, and the Chase had already cleared, right? The money, right? And so we're looking for it to credit. And then it was batching, which basically, if I understand that term correctly, she's putting it in, the money that went in is now going into different batches, right? For different purposes, right? Like for humanitarian purposes and for building skyscraper, or building construction, for water supply, for health, all those things. It's batching, and that's something like that. That's not exactly it, but and that money's being put out there that way and categorized that way. So, and that was her response to me asking her. I'm like, because the Guardian of Camelot, our origin was in Chase Bank. Now, if there's any way, we offered to buy Chase Bank. We gave Kim a very formal proposal to buy it. And I very much want redemption. I'm not going to lie, of these animals that are there, these the gatekeepers, right? That stand in the way of you ever getting any progress. Because over a year ago, I was in there for 2 months straight. I was banging down Chase Bank. I recorded every single email, letter, conversation, everything. Every single awful thing they said to me. And I remember when their mobster group, the global security group, right, called me up. He's like, "You really think they're going to give you $100 million?" Like he was mocking me, right? I go, "Yes, I do actually." He's like, "It's a scam. It's a scam." They didn't even check it out, right? So that's the news, though, right? So basically, we're waiting for things to batch right now, but this is the closest we've ever been. It's here. She broke the beast. The RV is debunked. Everybody needs to tell your friends and come on over to the light side because just the way it is. Just the way it is. It's amazing. And I will say this: we all owe a tremendous debt of gratitude to Kim and the entire team up there, and for all the work that we know they've done and all the things we really don't know they've done. And I have a glimpse into some of the things that she has done, but even that, I just know better. That there's so many things that I know of that I can't even. They're just so incredible. And I know that there's a lot more. So.
That's fantastic. So that's why I put up the applause sound effects.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I do feel very, very grateful. I look at this path. You go down this path, and it is a hard path to navigate. Without getting deceived, without getting desperate and making bad decisions, getting compromised, and doing something you'll regret. It's a hard path, man. It's a hard path, and especially when you're like kind of leading with your chin and picking fights with everybody and. Which I've been doing. So, so have you. So
we're here on the front lines.
On the front lines.
Right. Taking, dodging the arrows.
Yeah. So, but I gotta be honest, I would, as much as this is, it is very much about the people and very much about what we're doing. Man, I really want my words to have weight again. Before I started down this path, you couldn't have found a negative thing about me anywhere, right? I was so controlled about everything I presented every place in the world, which I don't regret that. It's fine, But now I've got smear campaigns on me and people just, trashing me everywhere and all the time and trolls jumping on with no faces, calling names. I don't care about that stuff. That's fine. Like. I appreciate that kind of display of smallness, right? Because it just makes it easier to stand out. So I don't mind that. But I will say that I would just like to be able that when we go in to do something at a bank, right, and all the good work we've done with nothing, right, really with nothing. And I'm very grateful to have had the opportunity to do that, right? Because, I know that a lot of people waited, but we didn't, right?
Right.
And so I'm just very grateful to have had that opportunity. I recognize that, that it's a gift to be able to see these things, and I treat it as such. But what's really amazing is what I really do want is to be able to go back into like Chase Bank and this guy, his name is Troy Apollo.
Oh my goodness, Troy Apollo, huh?
Yeah, he snubbed us. He just completely snubbed us, and he talked down to us and wouldn't hold appointments and ran me all over the city for 2 months, right? And just didn't even have the decency to take my call. Wouldn't even take me seriously. Had his thugs call me and try to threaten me and scare me. I'm constantly getting threats like this from various whatever they are. I don't even take them seriously. I don't listen to it unless they're actually in a position to do something to help me. But they always try to drop threats on me. Secret people that are we suspect are actually dead. Calling me with voiceovers, and it's so funny. I don't know if I'm just too dumb to be afraid of these things or what, but I just feel like it's the Wizard of Oz, right?
Right.
And like it's all this bluster and a big, cloud of smoke and a green head.
That's it.
Yeah, it's a little old man behind the curtain.
Yeah. Well, I didn't think it was quite a little old man behind the curtain, but I did know there was a curtain. I do know that whatever was behind it was literally not. It was all through fear that they were ruling, and when you rule through fear, the one thing that basically makes that just disappear is light. You basically just keep looking for the truth, and then you find it. No matter you might go down some dark hallways. And you might find some things that are disgusting. I mean, we know that we found some very ugly things that have been going on here, but we know that is their system of control for their own society, for their own people, right? They indoctrinate them into this hell. And then they say, hey, everyone, you got to worship hell, right? Hey, we're in hell. So we're going to get to the other place, and it's going to be wonderful, right? But in the meanwhile, they're feasting on babies and doing all this stupid ceremonial stuff that was only put there to trick them into compliance, right?
Well, and I suppose if you do things that are awful enough, right, enough times, that like there's definitely beings, in the galaxy, I'm sure, that like feed on humans, right? But like because we're a sentient being and whatever, and like
right.
you're not really supposed to do that. But if they've done horrible things like that, maybe there's a code there that says, hey, we can eat these guys. So they probably have it set up like, oh no, you guys are going to be swept up into the ship. They brought them on the ship. And it's just like that Twilight Zone episode. It's like,
to serve man.
To serve man. Right? Next thing you know, they're all there thinking they're going to be, falling out, and all of a sudden they are.
They're on the menu.
Being fattened up and thrown around, ready to eat. So.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. The thing is that most of the people that went down that road. I mean, I was looking. I've never looked into cloning. Right, I saw really, I mean, I knew like cloning, like the technology side, and I looked a little bit, but I never looked into the politicians being cloned or people in Hollywood. But I just saw a video about the people that are being cloned in Hollywood and what's wrong with the clones, and and this is a technology that they've developed, and and what happens, the defects with the clones, right? So to see that they're replaceable, right? They think that they can be cloned, and they just got to get the technology down. Their consciousness can be uploaded. Everything is all about getting out of the situation of being human to become better when we are better. Not to say we don't have issues, but as we are, we're built better, and that's why they're trying to not let us realize that we're built better.
Yeah, we're mostly water, right? And now, like, you see all these incredible qualities of, how important and valuable water is to every other planet and everything, right? That water is, this incredible, intermediary expression, right, of kind of this perfected source energy, right? It's like just amazing how many things are there. I was talking to I have this really funny old Chinese couple, right, who lived next door to me, and then the Chinese woman is just the meanest woman in the world, right? She's always screaming at her husband at the top of her lungs, like just emasculating him every place, right? and they've been married for like 50 years, right? And she's always like yelling in Chinese at him. And every time I see her, right, I yell at her. I say, "Stop! I'm like, be nice." Every time I see her, and for whatever reason, now I don't even know her really. You know, but I'll walk over to, like, I walked over today. I just gave her a hug when she was yelling at her husband. She just stopped. She laughed. But it's amazing, right? Like, she seems so violent and really wretched, right? But then, like, I just talk to her like I've known her forever, and she loves me for whatever. Like, she smiles and she immediately lightens up, and I just thought, you know, it's probably that easy, right? I mean, to connect with people, you know, just break them out of that. Just, you know, find a way.
Those are just patterns, right? You know, that people learn to be in a pattern. You know, and it's, you know, they say it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. So, you know, the longer you're in a pattern, the more difficult it is for you to change. So, you know, you're out of the box maneuvering. Allows for a pathway to form. You know, crack in the box. You know, to get out.
Exactly. It's just, you know, it is. Like, people they're so afraid to, you know, walk into a situation where they think they're going to be yelled at or embarrassed or hurt. I don't know. I just feel like, you know, maybe that, you know, if that's how they kept us all hostage, right? There's really nothing to be afraid of, you know.
Yeah,
right?
I've got a good idea. It's like when you go into Chase, you know, just for every time after the first time, just make sure Troy Apollo always bows.
Oh, see, I don't like bowing. What I would like,
kneeling.
Troy, I'd like him removed, completely, because he cannot be trusted. He is demonstrated. He was over the humanitarian portion of Chase Bank, and, you know, so we come in, completely validated source of funding, completely very incredibly well-worked projects, hundreds of very well-worked projects, qualified, right? And not just projects that we would be doing, but projects that we would be able to get funds out to. That we really, you know, it's not like we're profiting off those things, right? And I think that's one thing that people are used to. That, you know, you're looking to get rich, so they think, oh, you know, you want to get rich, we're not going to let that happen. We need to keep you suppressed. But that's not what it was, right? For us, it was like, look, these are qualified projects, and, you know, the actual bylaws of the trust, when you put out funding, you know, you can't, like, double dip, right? Like, so you can't fund the project and then also, you know, force them to use, like, you know, your free energy device that you designed, right? Like, you know, it's like you can't do both.
Yeah.
So I'm more than happy to just get funding to people and, you know, just work with them beforehand to make sure we're all on the same page, you know?
Well, I think one of the major, you know, things is to put in a structure to allow it to roll out, right? To have it, and that's going to be full time, you know, for a couple lifetimes probably. You know, it's not like, you know, it's going to be drained out in a few years, right? It's everything in the trust, you know, now going into distribution. Does Kim say how long she thinks it's going to take to distribute?
I don't think it's just a distribution like that, you know. It's not just, hey, let's get this money out. I just don't think there's that behind it.
Yeah, okay.
Because, you know, it's not about that. Because there's a methodology to allow funds to return, you know. That is like, you have to kind of keep things at a certain pace so you don't flood the economy. Right. Because what I would say is that money will flow freely. And if you just release $2 trillion into the world and put it in the hands of the people, you would change the world.
Right.
That alone would change the whole world. Because you'd have money with people, right?
Right.
And, you know, she was talking about this on Sunday. She was saying, like, you know, let the piglets have their money. You know, that's what she said. She goes, that doesn't matter. As long as the people have money. What matters is what we do with our money. Yeah. Right? And I don't necessarily agree with that. But I understand what she's saying, you know. Like, but I don't think that people that have suppressed us and have every advantage in the world and have proven that they're not trustworthy, that they are, you know, wholly given over to the destruction of humankind, should be given,
right,
you know, any money.
Right,
but,
I agree.
But in the scope of things, as long as I can have money and I can move, right? And the people can move, right? And the people can have money and we can function without their interference, that's fine. But she did put out very specific rules for that, right? Which this I do agree with. She put out the rules. If they violate and try to take our money in any way, if they try to hurt anyone, if they try to wage war, everything they have will be taken. And they will never be able to do anything in a banking system, computer system, anywhere ever again.
No,
that, to me, is that I can live with. Because you know they're going to violate it, right? You know they're going to do something. Because they're greedy. It's the nature of who they are.
Yeah.
They deserve it. And that's the problem I have. Anybody that feels like they are so much more deserving that they can do anything they want. They can step on anybody. You know, push a pregnant lady out of the way to go to the bathroom.
Right, because they deserve
go in there
it.
and eat the baby. I mean, like...
Yeah, it's you know, it is really remarkable. I mean, I've been in business a long time. I've dealt with many kinds of people, and there's it always amazes me, you know, because I'm not going to screw over anyone, right? I'm not going to, you know, do a dishonest deal. I'm going to try my best to honor a deal that's been created, and I would find if I found someone like that that's more valuable than any of the money, right? But the people out there that, you know, they're so tuned into this idea that, they can take advantage if they find an angle, you know, they can break a deal just because, you know, it doesn't really mean anything. The deals don't mean anything. So that's like, you know, where I grew up, I remember, you know, spitting in your hand, right, and and shaking someone's hand, right? You know, that's you know, that's it. You know, that's what the deal is. You don't need a piece of paper and an attorney, right, to make sure someone is going to abide by their word. You know, that system is what's wrong, right? And
well, no, I get, you know, we've been working with, you know, the gentleman came on with the herbal treatments, right? And you know, we've been talking, and you know, so he's got family, and he's been doing this a long time, and he's had huge, big money offers, right? And so, you know, his family, his kids, right? They're successful, and you know, they don't really need money, but they don't want their dad getting screwed over, right? Which makes sense, and they're very much in the world, right? So they're like, you know, Dad, you've been doing this free, and you know, all this stuff, and it's not for free. It's not for free. It's at his expense, right? He puts a lot of money out, and like, so we were just talking about ways, you know, to make sure he doesn't get in trouble because he can't even sell the product, right? But you know, part of the issue is you don't need to sell the product, right? There's plenty of other ways, you know, to handle this,
right,
you know, professionally and lawfully. So we've been talking about that, right? And but then, like, you know, I guess his attorney called him and said, look, you got to have a non-disclosure. And so he and I had like a little heart-to-heart about it. I said, listen, John, do you see what's happening right now? I'm like, you're a week behind what our agreement is. I'm like, which I'm not going to discuss, but I'm like, you're a week behind. I'm like, and they got these attorneys coming in. Now they're trying to muck things up.
right.
They're going to try to get me to sign some NDA that's going to try to get us in trouble and get you in trouble. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
I'm like, you and I, let's make an agreement. Like, that way. I go, I have no problem signing an NDA. I go, well, I'm not trying to profit off your product. I just want to get people well. I want to get my own people well.
Yeah.
I got people in my organization right now who need those things. I'm like, I'm not trying to take what you have and turn around and make it a bank for myself, right? And he was like, you can tell he's a good guy. He's been in this. He just did this study, right, where he, you know, a 2020 study, and the 20 people that he treated, there's no signs of cancer anymore, right? So they offered him big money, like $400 million for it, right? But, you know, they were going to bury it,
right?
Because that's what they do.
Right.
So he wouldn't let them have it. So they came up to his property, and they were like trying to steal his recipe in the process and everything. And then they came back to him after 60 days and made him another offer. And he said, "You obviously can't be trusted. Don't you remember you were just here?" And I just had to laugh. I'm like, these people are so obnoxious. It's like, why do you think I'm going to do business with you if you just try to steal it? We know you don't have the good intention to help anybody.
Right.
So anyway, I don't want to get focused on that. But I'm just saying, like, hey, that's the standard that's been set for us, right? So pretty much, you could be drunk, half asleep on a computer, and do a better job than them. It's not even remotely hard. The standard is so low. It's so low. You could not possibly do worse. I was thinking about this. You could put, you could put my son's 7th grade math class, right? They're pretty good kids, right? They're all getting like 90s. 7th grade math class, and you could put them over the Federal Reserve. They do a better job than these idiots because they run the entire economy into the ground. They've made profits off nothing. They've created nothing. They've run all types, portions of the world into the ground. Haiti is a nightmare. $16 billion, and this is the end result. So I'm very, very confident and hopeful and expectant that the money is in, because right now is when it's needed. And when one of the second or third conversations I ever had with Kim, we were talking about like drawing this light in your body and you abuse it to heal yourself or even as a weapon, right? And I wanted that, right? And as I jokingly always tell Kim I wanted to download Kung Fu on me. And but what she told me then was, when you need it, it'll be there. So right now, my feel for the planet and for the people is we need it. And because she told me that, I feel that's why it's going to be there more than anything else. So that's where I'm at.
Well, I need it right now. Not the Kung Fu.
Yeah. Well, I'll take the Kung Fu too.
I'll take the Kung Fu. I'll take some telekinesis along the way. Would be good. Throw some telekinesis in there. Whenever the dog and cat are like ready to fight, I can just like keep them apart.
Keep them apart. Yeah, I feel like that would end badly. Like people would be hitting walls all the time. They wouldn't realize how powerful they were.
Yeah, I could just do the Superman thing, just float in the air.
I would definitely fly. I mean, I'd fly everywhere. It wouldn't even be a question.
Yeah, my wife calls me Chubby Superman.
That's nice.
And then I do this action, this like thing. Oh, you weren't watching, okay. It's a visual thing. It's like I just look up into the distance, hold my shoulder up and up.
Oh yeah, sure.
The Superman move, right? So yeah, but so yeah, I'm ready. So just make sure that I'm in one of the batches. I'm ready to go forward
and I'm translating that. It could be something else. But
I know.
That's just I'm just letting everybody know because I just.
Well, this what I said earlier was that I should tell it's like I look at the global issues, like what's going on in the world, the politics. I say, is this the time when the money can be turned on? And I say, it's with looking at what Trump is doing and Giuliani, or what's happening in the world, and the fighting of the cabal, again, the impeachment stuff and all this kind of, they're so obviously losing. It's almost like they're going down the drain, right? And they're just spiraling down the drain, and they're like throwing their last, daggers out at Trump or whatever. So I'm looking at that and saying, is this like, well, the money can flow out like this week, or is it we got to wait for the them to make it through the P trap, through the plumbing before the money starts actually flowing?
To be honest, I really think we've brought this whole process as far as we can. I mean, I don't want to challenge the universe. I mean, like, I'm sure we could keep doing this for a while.
I dare you, universe.
But but I'll give you an example. We've been working with the National Liberty Alliance, right? And these guys have had more breakthroughs in 20 years, and they've done it so quietly that no one even realizes they've built what they've done, right? But they've done it. They've got it in the court of records. They've got it entered into, actual lawful action, right? And if they continue at this pace, they'll never break through, So now because of what they've done, it allows us to come in and give them some support to restore a government for the people, that is run by the people, and it always operates in the best interest of the people, which we have never had in our lifetime. But so to me, it's like, well, this is the time, right? And they came at just the right time. We've never been in a position better than now, where we can challenge these ridiculous laws. First of all, who is the FDA to create a law at all? And how does no one even question the fact that you tell me I cannot cure myself of cancer? I can't say I cured myself of cancer. Why? It's in my constitutional rights, right, that I can do that.
Right.
The pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness, right? Like, these are things that are mine. These are my natural rights. And you're telling me I can't cure myself? Well, if I'm sick, isn't curing myself a natural part of life? So how dare they try to make that a law?
It makes me happy. It makes me happy to cure myself.
Being healthy makes me happy. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, well, I think it goes with healthy, wealthy, and wise. They're attacking all of those.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very happy to hear that we have this breakthrough, or at least this is looking very positive, right? So if you have the cooperation of the Fed and Chase at the same time, and we looked this up before the show. It was like you said that the arrest of those people at Chase in the back room that were holding up the transfers was on October 2nd, and October 2nd was the day we missed, one broadcast. So
yeah,
it seems it looks like now she's working with Chase. Those people are gone. It looks like that's a breakthrough. That's
who knew? Who knew we just had to stop doing our shows?
That's it. Just miss one. We did. We the ones that knew.
We did. That's right.
We said so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do we actually like in the Matrix where the Oracle says to Neo and be careful of that vase, and then he knocks it over and breaks it, right? And so she knew before it happened, right? And then she said to him, well, what's really going to bake your noodle is when you think, would you actually have broken the vase if I didn't say anything? It's a worse cause and effect in there, right? Because it was already destined to happen, right? It was already underway. The patterns were unfolding. So, if we had missed a show earlier, would it have actually have happened? Would something have happened at that time? It just happened when it happened because it was the time for it to happen. Which is part of the reason why continuing to do it on a daily basis, right? It says we carry the manifestation forward. We head in that direction until we arrive, and then we continue to go. We're still going. We've got things to do. I'm glad. That's like a good step being made. Now, what's the next step? I've got some ideas.
Yeah. Well, it's people did ask me to talk about that a little bit about what the next steps will look like, and that really, I will say this to start, that is very much up to the people, right? So we'll do our job to make sure that once we have access to funding and project stuff, that we have lots of projects that are ready to get started. The next couple of months is assuming that this is all on track and goes the way I expect, that we'll put out relief funding right away for people just to set up their offices and things like that so they can get functional. Kind of pull themselves together and realize it's go time. And take a month to just get their house in order. And then once we do that with at least and that's something that Kim and I had set up, so we could get all these people with create change offices around the country and around the world, so that they can start looking at projects and assessing projects. And we have some great, we have an amazing team in South Carolina, another one up in Detroit, various points around the country and around the world that they're so ready to go, and they're so in tune with what needs to be done, and they're so bought into the mission. They're so relieved, right, to be able to actually work their soul contract, right, their life's purpose, that they've just been waiting to do this for so long. And that's the greatest that's the greatest thing to be able to do in the world, to let people be the best version of themselves. And so I'm really excited about that, and that's what's going to be happening. So we'll be setting up, we have a lot of the structure set up, but we need the physical structure to actually work and
right.
centralize things a little bit,
right.
So that we and actually put out our processes. We have to bring people in for training. At least at Create Change, we have to bring people in for training, so we're all on the same page. And we've learned so much, that all the training we had built a year ago is already obsolete in many ways, so that we've had to change a lot of things, and we're doing so many other things, and have been so short-manned. It's hard to get that stuff done. You also have to prioritize, right? Like, no sense in building a whole other training program if you're not ready. But we do have the Green Lantern University, and the whole system for that will launch, and we'll use that as a methodology to train people all over the world, because it's obviously online, and we can set that up, and we'll use that to launch classes for the National Liberty Alliance, so that people can actually learn about the Constitution, as well as various holistic healing methods and latent technologies, real science that's been suppressed, like real quantum physics and things like that.
Yeah. Well,
and,
doing this kind of classes for Green Lantern is like you're becoming a superhero, right? But not the kind of superhero where you're becoming a Borg enhanced individual that's that we're going to try and sell us on. Right? So now we're becoming superheroes, by our actions, by what we're doing to help.
Right. You have the idea of the Green Lantern is that he's powered by the green light of will, and the green light of will is the first cause of all creation. So whatever you can imagine and connect yourself to, you can bring that into life. And I think that's just something that I discovered with my sons, and it all makes sense to me, right? So that's exactly what the Green Lantern University will be about bringing those things into life. And because it's so far from the actual, we're not promoting anything to do with the comic book, no one will confuse it. I've already taken the steps to make sure that we are cleared with copyrights and things like that with the name, so that there'll be no issues with DC Comics. And I'm going to invite DC Comics to come in and talk about the process, So,
Well, good.
Pretty excited about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've taken the first steps. So let's
Yeah.
roll.
So there'll be we have people that are have to work full-time jobs that are ready to go to walk away from those jobs. Thousands of people like that are just ready to walk away from their jobs so that they can work to change the world. And we will be employing lots of people to do that, initially, and people that want to, be part of it, they can be, and people that have projects can do that too. I fully expect that within Create Change, lots of the people that we employ at some point are going to get involved in the project and realize, hey, I can do this in this town, and they're going to have their own projects. And I think that's natural expansion of things, that as it should be. That people will be empowered. And that's the goal, right? Is to empower the people, because we've gone the other way, right? Where we sit back and wait for somebody else to do it, and that leads to slavery. So now is the time to empower people and pray for the doers, right? Get people active and moving and contributing their incredible ideas and technologies and putting them to work. So, very excited about that.
I'm just reading something in our chat room that I find was interesting. So it's from Coke Van Garland. Q alert critical update on status of White House. Common sense show Marines activated to arrest 120,000 U.S. leaders. The prophecy.
That's just not going to happen.
I said, okay.
Sorry, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Like they only activated 180,000 Marines. You're going to go arrest 120,000, leaders who all have their own mercenary forces. I mean, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to be much slower. We're going to see, one being picked off here and there, right? And then it's going to build. And then it'll be like two at a time. Every day there'll be two. Then it'll be like half a dozen. Then it'll be 10, and then it'll be dozens. And then there'll be hundreds, and then there'll be thousands. And by the time the thousands are happening, people we're already well versed in what everything that has been going on. I mean, people have at least woken up to a point, But I feel I'm listening to some of the stuff on Fox, and they're talking about, well, in every state of the union, the polls show that any of the Democrats can beat Trump. I'm going, that is such a load.
What?
I said, how can they sit there with a straight face? I mean, every rally he does, I mean, he could put 500,000 people there if they had a facility for it. Anywhere he went.
I mean, over and over again, like you'll see like Joe Biden like speaking at a gym with like the volleyball team there, and they don't even stop practice to listen to him. And then they'll have like President Trump will be like, people will be outside like it's a rock concert.
What was that?
Crazy.
What was that? That attorney Michael, the porn star lawyer, Michael Avenatti, right? When he was saying his goodbye, right? There was multiple cameras in their room, meaning two. one was in front that he was speaking to, and then someone had a phone on it. And they took a photo of him, and he's talking to as though there's a room full of people, right? He's just acting it out, but there was nobody there, right? So this is a couple people with the cameras, and that was it. But they're acting in front like there's an audience, right? So it's like they're trained to do this. So they still think they're in this bubble where they believe the polls.
Yeah,
they believe.
It's like, listen, your tech isn't even that good anymore. I mean, we basically pulled that off of Zoom, right? like we're not too far away from it, at least, I mean, so give a break. Like, I'm underwhelmed by everything they're doing. Nothing they do right now is impressive. Matter of fact, the only thing that is kind of impressive is that they keep saying the same idiotic thing with a straight face. Like they keep going after Trump. But Biden did crack. He said, well, the Obama White House approved Hunter Biden's appointment, right? That's a fraction right there.
That's a thank you for that. That's like proving the point. Oh, just please tie the Obama White House into all the corruption that you're now carrying around your neck. Just tie Obama in. Yeah, that's good.
I mean, do something. I mean,
it's already there. I mean, there's still, now Rudy Giuliani is pointing to Romania, right? He's now hinting at Romania. What's in Romania? Well, we're going to find out, I'm sure. Rudy's going to be filling us in on the details. But, all of these countries, we passed out all of this money, right? And then the politicians went and ate it up. So they have billions stored away. These people have been looting the country, looting the world, really. I mean, they're literally looting the world because they had control over the money until Kim. Now they don't have the control over the money anymore, and now they may have finally just realized that they don't have control over it. And I'm glad that she has the Fed and Chase both working for them, right? Hey, okay, you want to own Chase, I want to own the Fed.
The Chase does own the Fed. I think all the Fed's accounts are in the Chase.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. Right. I thought that might have been Citibank.
I know Citibank is definitely the one who devoured Haiti.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think Citibank was tied into the more of the worldwide, systems, and Chase was more centered in the U.S. But I don't know about anyway. But okay, we've made it this far. It's happy days. I want to put back on the applause, but I need to get cheers. That's what I need to get some cheers going on here. Some blowing like New Year's horns or something. Celebration.
Yeah. But you know what? And I will say this too. Until we know the money is there to move, and what restrictions we have or have not to fund different things, we're still raising money for Haiti. Now, there was some confusion about this, and people who got discouraged, like, "Oh no, is that like Kim has done her job, right?" But we are, we're on our level. We're just not waiting. We're still pressing forward until we know what's going on, and then we're going to press forward even harder with a lot more force, right?
Yeah.
And in this case, go to the Speak Project YouTube channel, and please go in and watch those videos. If you're not moved by some of the things that Joan Luis is saying, then you're dead inside, and we don't want your money anyways. So, but if you have money to give, and don't give if you don't. Like, I don't want anybody in a bad situation, but people have put up small donations already, and I appreciate that. I'm sure Haiti appreciates it as well. And we're going to get that directly to people on the ground. Unlike the Clinton Foundation, we don't need $14 billion to change Haiti. We can do it much smaller, and still be much more impactful because the Clintons essentially built nothing. So,
yeah, amazing. 16 billion stolen away.
Right.
Yeah. Remember, there was those boxes of cash for the Red Cross, just stored there. It's just.
Well, yeah, and we actually, if you look at the videos on the Speak Project, you'll see they're giving out money to these like gang, just like criminals down there.
Where do I look?
To pay them to
on the Speak Project. Where do I look?
It probably says something Haiti, and I think there's 3 or 4.
There's a YouTube
there right now.
A YouTube menu.
Yeah, the YouTube. Yeah, YouTube.
That's taking me to there. Okay.
You'll see them like he's sharing that, and that's direct video. I mean, that's like direct from them, because they're covering this up, right? They have media blackout, but the video we have is directly from Haiti. That's like it's what's happening there. It's like from the people there.
Okay.
So we're dealing with people directly, and we're gonna do our best to get them whatever support we can as fast as we can. And John Luis, at one point in there, he says, he's like, Haiti needs your help now. That's what he said. Don't wait. And he's right. He's right. And
well, they're only a few minutes. I can put them on while we're here. How about that? Is that all right?
Sure. Yeah. Go for it.
Let me go ahead and get that selected. So should I go to part 1? Start there?
I think we watched part 1, so I would start with part 2.
Oh, okay.
have a church against us. We have a Clinton machine against my people. And the one thing we need for the Americans, we need the right to go out, but we need every support, even $20, $10, $5, I don't care, $1. Because right now, I am the only one and a few diaspora that's supporting those people. There's not even the only hospital over there is a private hospital. So when somebody gets shot, it costs like $3,000 to $4,000 to get that person out of the hospital. And the bill is high, and we have no support. I mean, we have no support. Not a call from the Republican Party. We are the only hope for Trump to win this election. And Trump needs to fight back with the Haitian shit whole thing. And the only one that can happen is we. If I'm a Haitian, I can say why Haiti is a shithole. We can fight back with the Clinton machine. Right now, we are falling, and every truck, the Clinton machine is put down there. So, this is one thing I'm making before. You want to think the whole thing about the impeach Trump? You think it's no. It's not to impeach Trump. It's to keep Trump busy so they can win the second term. When I'm telling you, they can people, we need your help now. I have hundreds of videos. What's going on? We get black by Twitter. We get black by all everything we post Twitter. Kick them out. So we need two things right now. We need your support. I don't care how you're gonna do this. There are companies that's medicine. I have a shipping company who will ship everything to me for free to Haiti. Raise some money. Give us like $10,000, $5,000. Give us some money so we can have those kids that's getting started right now to speak in the street in Haiti. And Trump to tell the guy that's killing people want to put this guy in jail. Because we, the Haitian people, he is not going to get asylum in any other country. He needs to go to jail for the crime he's done in Haiti. Because we're not kicking him out because we want to give a coup d'etat. We're asking him to step down because he's a criminal. He's involved in drugs. He's involved in 3 massacres he's done in the country. And right now he's continuing killing our people, our children, who's are the future of Haiti. He's continuing killing them right now. And I cannot get one senator from the Republican Party. I cannot get one congressman from the Republican Party. They're all quiet. You know why? Because they all work for the Clintons. Wake up, America.
1991, when we were fighting for freedom and liberty and democracy in Haiti, I was one of the young people that stand up, at the U.S. Embassy and the U.S., and in New York to protest so we can, to bring democracy back to Haiti. But today, the youth in Haiti want to do the same thing, but they can't. Nobody supports them. Because in Haiti, if you speak on the radio, there's somebody that's going to call you back 10 minutes later and tell you next time, if you ever speak on the radio next time, we're going to kill you, or we're going to kill your family.
That's more than a blackout.
Yeah. They'll kill your family. They'll threaten you for going on a radio show.
The next one.
So by sending a virus and destroy all the data, and also you have the bank. So basically the bank been robbed and the bank is bankrupt and what? The police in Haiti caught those guys. They caught the guys, they put them in jail, and the Clinton again intervened and freed them. So I'm asking myself, where's the Trump administration? Listen, they can kill Trump anytime they want, by any way, by any means necessary. I am sure he's not dead yet. But what I know to my friend from CNN, she dropped me some stuff. She told me, don't trust nobody. She told me if I want to meet Trump, I have to get a press pass and get to one of the rallies and talk to Trump one-on-one. Because she told me everyone, she in it. She said every single one in the State Department is working for the Clintons. They're all in cahoots against Trump. So you have a president that has a State Department when everybody working for another party. They're working for the Clintons. They're not working for the Democrat Party, but they're working for the Clinton machine because they were there by the Clintons. The Clintons were there. Remember, 40 years in the making. 40 years the Clinton didn't fire all the judge and put his own judge from the State Department, from the CIA, from the FBI. He fired everybody to the wrong people there. The whole justice government, one judge. So we Asians, we are fighting a war that we cannot win without the help of the American people. So in October 17, we're doing a big march. We're doing a big protest against the 4 main important embassies in the world that receive money from this dictator, from this criminal, from this drug dealer to close their eyes on Haiti. We're going to go in front of the embassy to protest, not just in Haiti, but all around the world. And we need that to support us on that. We need the media. We need the Speak Project media to support us and back us up so we can give to the world what's going on, so the world can know. But they slaughter my people. They slaughter the young people. And there's nobody say anything. I mean, nobody, not the UN, not the human rights. Where are they? The OEA. There's so many names of human rights fighting for freedom and liberty and democracy. Where's the democracy now? Where are they? Because they're all. Let me tell you what's going on in Haiti. Yeah, let me tell you what's going on. Let me tell you what's going on in Haiti. Right? The government in Haiti right now is the most corrupt government that ever exists on this planet. Because the Clinton put up there, the last 2 governors. Okay? The Clinton took over the Haiti government in 2010 after the earthquake. And I'm going to state it, I'm going to say it clear. Hugo Chavez said the earthquake was caused by a hot weapon that the U.S. government was testing in Haiti. That's what caused the earthquake. Until today, I have not had one American, no CNN or CS, Fox, whatever, CIA, FBI. Nobody ever say it wasn't that.
It comes down to people, like real people, making a choice to stand with other people in the same fight for the same greater good. Because their kids are our kids. And our kids are their kids. And before our time, they stood with us. So I think at the very least, it's time for us to stay with them.
Okay. This is the 4th part. Government officials are passing out money.
You can share your screen, Dan. That's what I was talking about.
They see it.
Repeat that last part. She's doing what on TV?
Oh, okay.
Okay, Hillary Clinton, when he was debating Trump, okay, when Trump asked him what she stole from TV, she said on TV she spent 90%. I'm quoting. She said she spent 90% of $16.6 billion in Haiti. You know what I need, friend? I need one thing. I need a camera crew. It's a camera. That's all I need. A camera crew, a camera to show where the Hillary spent the 90% of $16.6 billion in Haiti. Where? And that's how I cannot get. I cannot get one. That's what I need. I need one camera crew to go to Haiti with me for 1 week. And I will show you what Haiti is today. Just starting off, we put Clinton behind the bar and his cronies, because all of them, they get contract under the table to build a village. They didn't build one house.
They don't build
anything.
anything. Right.
They didn't build anything. They request have billions of dollars to build mansions in Haiti. They didn't done. Today, there's still people living under the table for the work class. There's a company that was working with the Clinton. They have contract to rebuild, to revitalization zone, to build a resort and all that. They did. Now they're done. So we don't even have to go after the Clinton. We just go after those non-profit or those companies that have the contract. We go after them for that money. They're supposed to be able to get that money back By getting them, then you get the Clinton. By the time we end up to the Clinton, she will have only one nose out of the water, and even God cannot save her. Even Vatican cannot save Hillary. She could go to jail for a long, long time, because when you're a non-profit in America, you are bound by the Federal Reserve rules, by the Fed law. You cannot lie. You can cheat. If you cannot do something, you didn't do it, you need to give the money back to another non-profit to finish the work. You cannot just put the money, do whatever you want with it. The whole Clinton Foundation is a money laundry to clean drug money. And a lot of people that say the minister, the Haitian, the priest, they this, all of them, they're rushing drug money. They're cleaning it to the Clinton Foundation. So unless that makes people understand.
Yeah.
We got only one man for America.
Contributed about $14.3 billion. We're talking about $1 billion. Okay? And the Haitian people have not seen not even 2% of that money.
2%.
Nothing was done in Haiti.
No, and the New York Times has investigated this. Lots of other people have, and have found that it was donors to the Clinton Foundation that were then given these contracts, and they went
Exactly.
in. Yeah, go ahead.
Exactly, and actually they were given those contracts, they were given millions of dollars from that money, and nothing was actually done in Haiti. Haiti, just like everything the Clinton have done, is pay for play, and they control Haiti, and they have been controlling Haiti since 1994 when they invaded Haiti. Myself, I can tell you that back in August of 1994, I was always in contact with U.S. officials, and one of the person that came to see me in Haiti and talked to me for about 4 hours was former Congressman Bill Richardson. And I explained to Bill the exact situation that was happening in Haiti. A week later, a messenger from the U.S. Embassy came to me with a message from Bill Clinton, offered to buy me out, make me the richest man in Haiti.
Okay.
I refused. I said, tell Mr. Clinton, I am not for sale.
Okay.
A week later, my visa...
Why is she trying to interrupt
at
him?
that time, I was not a citizen
Because
of
she's
the
scared.
United States.
Yeah.
Because what
My
you bring out,
resident visa was
she's terrified.
by executive order from Bill Clinton.
Sir,
I mean, what the
Sir, I can't
Clintons
talk to you
have
about
done
this. I'm
in
gonna
Haiti
die.
is unbelievable, and the American people should know about it.
President Trump pointed it out. Now, you know what? It's not funny to me. It's not a joke.
It's not funny.
And look, I joke in the most serious of situations, and this is not a joke to me. We have got to do better. We have got to ignite the conscience of the collective. We have got to take it on all of ourselves, individually and personally, and connect to other people. We have got to make that connection and bridge those gaps, take the blocks they're throwing at us, and build bridges. We've got to find ways to get past that and get over ourselves. We're not doing any good by just attack, attack, attack. We've got to realize most of the people in all sects of all this stuff, they're good people. Or at least there's good in them. They're just caught up in something and they don't have the whole story. So if you know the whole story, or at least more than they do, don't worry about losing a friend because you tell them the truth.
All right, that was it. I'll switch back over the camera. I know I didn't share this screen, so you know you didn't know, but I was showing.
That's okay. As long as it got out there, that's fine. I just didn't know.
It's for me. It's an extra step to do the sharing, and then I'm not watching it. So it's kind of like it would be for your benefit to see, so I could do it. But anyway, but that's very powerful, and yeah, I'm so amazed that they said only 2% made it there, and I'm sure that they use that only for the rich people to have the houses or build resorts, and none of it made it to the people. What were they handing the cash out for? The government people out of that car?
They were giving money to the mercenaries so that they could, that they would be balling and go out and like create chaos. They pay the young men there for the most part, right? That are in gangs and like there's no job, there's no industry, right? They have nothing to do, but so it's like give them some money, they go out, wreak havoc, they will, because they got families too.
Well, yeah, don't delay if you can help. Participate. I saw also she said that there was a note on there. It said if you have a way of getting a camera crew to Haiti, to contact Speak Project. So, I was just recalling, the Epstein Island, right? The guy that did the drone flybys. That would be also interesting. Have some people that are close send some drones in, for videoing what's going on there. Oh well. So heavy. Just thinking about this is like, what can we do? But share these videos, get them out, have people donate. This one guy is there, and he's putting his life on the line to help his people, and he's asking for help.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I'm actually talking. We have a Haitian chat room, and I'm talking to some Haitians right now. Different groups, leaders too. Like they're leading different, political groups to stand up and take out this president there. Jovenel Moise, and the same question is like, you need to educate the people because you got whatever it is now, 2010, you got like 9 years of people that are indoctrinated in a different system when, Clinton's moved in and took over, and they did away, this is a common genocidal practice, right? You destroy the culture, you have your oppressor come in and rape the women and force them to have, children with this way. This is normal. They take the kids and they're trafficking and sodomizing, raping the kids, and it just becomes normal. When you make things that are horrendous crimes against humanity, you make them normal. This is the very nature of genocide, is to break the spirit of the people. When you want to eliminate people as a threat, right? Or you want their land, or you want their homes, or whatever it is, right? And that's what they're doing there. And we're talking about it right now about and it's just kind of like, we're talking about, and they're like, we need to educate people. Who's going to do that?
Right. I'm showing.
You gonna see that? That's a key.
I'm showing pictures of Haiti right now as we're talking. Just the devastation that was there from the earthquake. And I end up into some other photos. So one thing. Kind of hard. Wow. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Beautiful country. And that's why they want to basically eliminate all the people that are there so that they can own it. That's what this is all about.
Yeah. So, anyways,
yeah.
So that's all we got for tonight,
yeah.
As far as I know.
Yeah.
I guess.
That's well, we let's end on a good note here. That this is not important, but just we are now able to break through, so we can get help there soon. But let's not wait. If you can do anything, small donations, that's fine. Just make the small donations. I know this is something that is very important. The people are asking for help. We have to do what we can right now. if great, you know, amounts of money flow from Kim in the next week, wonderful. Doesn't matter, but we at least, you know, do the small amounts that we can right now. So.
That's right. And look, you know, I'll say this. I would love for somebody who's great at fundraising and, you know, understands these things better to, you know, take up the banner and, you know what, and go out and raise money and start getting some momentum going that way and creating some awareness. Because, you know, a lot of times when you're raising money, it's just as much about creating awareness as it is about raising money. Now, if you go and do that, we're coming right behind you with real support. But we need, you know, right now I'm talking to these Haitian groups and I'm like, you know, you need leadership on the ground, right? Like, people are talking about leaders being taken out. What leaders? Where? Show me these leaders. There's no real leaders getting taken out. You got a bunch of, you know, following, you know, actors, right, who are playing a part. And they can care less. You can have them play, they can play the good guy one day, the bad guy the next. It doesn't matter. You know, all they are is actors, right? They just pretend to be something. Now, in my opinion, you know, what we're looking for right now is you're not looking for, you know, we always have these ideas about what leaders look like. Well, look in the mirror. You know, it might be you. Now, it might not be you. And that's okay too, by the way. You know, a leader is just a job like any other job, like whoever's running the thing. But I can tell you that my focus will be on the greater scope of revitalizing the planet. And that's my focus is in any way I can contribute to that is what I'll be doing. Our team at Create Change will be doing that. We will be starting a lot of that in New York and in Detroit, you know, in South Carolina, and you know, we have some core cities in Arizona, and Texas. I mean, we have some things that are just global that are going to initiate everywhere. I mean, we have about 24 prime locations that are already staffed with people that are ready to go. Just here in the U.S., then we have other parts of the world that are, you know, already doing things. And this is the moment where we can actually shift the momentum, right? Where we can get people's attention off things that aren't going to happen. You know, all these ridiculous, you know, people who just they bought up tons of bonds or tons of currency, and they thought they were going to make a housing project and repeat the exact same house, you know, make the world's biggest project. That's not going to happen. We're going into areas to empower the people that are there, right? We're not going to go in there and just say, hey, this is what we're going to do with our plan that we have approved to build on your land. That's not what it's about. It's about returning the land to the people, returning the ownership and the pride of ownership of a country back to the people. That's what has been taken from us, our freedom, our identity. These things have been stolen from us as a race of humanity across the whole planet. And I bet you when you connect with that energy and realize that's common in every culture that you think is suppressed around the world, you'll see they have the same issue. They just want to be free. They want their kids to be safe. They want to thrive. They want to be able to make a living. They want to be able not to have to work 60 hours a week just to get by, right? They want the opportunity to be human, right? Because being human requires you to be able to create, to love, to care, right? To look out for your children, to learn, to develop. These are all things that are just innate to who we are, right? And that, you know, we have that opportunity. We have these ways that we can put not just money out there, but we have access to all types of technology, and we can make things better. And as we go, we're going to run into other technologies that we haven't even, you know, considered yet.
Right.
You know, and this is all over. I mean, Dan's got a group there in the Philippines, right, that we connected with a while back, and that is amazing. I mean, they're amazing. They have amazing work, right? And I've got groups like that over in Texas, in Colorado, and I mean, all over the world. We have groups that are already building, they're already organic, you know, building organic farms, and, you know, and understand the value of the work that they're doing. And we want to empower these people so they can thrive, right? Because they have the products and they're growing things that heal all of us, you know. So find someone to support, you know, get involved, take your idea, develop it. You don't have to be the all in all. You know, if it's not in you to lead up a project, you don't have to. So we got 1,000 different ways you can support people. You know, go to the Guardian of Camelot and get set up. You know, we'll bring you into the Creators Network. we're going to just start having kind of a more of a open enrollment a little bit, but we're still going to do background checks and stuff. And and the other thing is like, there's everybody has had a run-in with one of these characters, right? With money. Now that doesn't make them bad people, right? They're just misinformed, right? Now they might be bad people, but that's something we're gonna have to feel out on a case-to-case basis, and we're gonna have to use intelligence and discernment, and just make decisions that are in the best interest of everyone to the very best of our ability, right? And we're gonna have to rebuild industries from the ground up. And I would say I have no intention of at least from what we're allowed to do, of just going and buying a whole bunch of products from a big corporation and now they're doing great, because their reputation is shot as far as I'm concerned. Right. They've had all this opportunity, all this money, all this ways. What have they done with it? Nothing. So I'm looking for these smaller groups that want to expand and grow out and do great things in whatever they're producing.
Right.
Because that's how we rebuild as a people.
Yeah, we have to replace the things that are out there that we're used to having with new companies, right? Because the old companies are doing things a certain way, and number one, they won't know how to change quickly, right? And even if they do, they're still going to have their old ways following them for a while. So we need to build other companies, and we need those people that are going to step forward and do it. And no one has to appoint you a leader. You don't wait for an appointment. Don't sit around and say, well, how do I become a leader? No, just go and do it. Just make steps towards what you're going to, what you want to build, what you want to do, and all of a sudden you are a leader. You just have to take some steps, and that's all it takes.
And I will say that Create Change, the Speak Project, there'll be lots. We will be hiring many full-time positions, and that might not be your wheelhouse. You might not want to be employed. You want to just be your own entity. That's fine. But you probably have someone in your world, and if you think enough of us that you would trust them to come work with us, I can guarantee you that'll be a incredibly rewarding experience that they'll be well paid for. So, I'm looking all the time for good people. And I always tell my team, more so than any ideas or anything else, I invest in good people. And I've never had that investment betray me. When I put my time and energy into good people, it always yields the best results. So, and that's all for now, Dan. And that's the way it is.
And that's the and that's the way it is. Walter Cronkite. All right. So everyone, join us. Let's keep going. Take our steps, and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye for now.
All right. Go fight win.